Peter Phillips, welcome to the Raw Report. Fabulous to have you with us. What brings you to Australia?
Well, it's very nice to be here for my sort of annual trip to Australia, but on this particular trip I'm here for representing IFAC, which is the International Foundation for Arts and Culture, founded by Dr. Handa, and he supports the Handa Opera on the Harbour, which is in its 11th year, and very much looking forward to being there and seeing the show on the harbour with a spectacular backdrop.
And you do keep coming back to Australia. What do you love about it?
There's much to love about Australia. I mean, the people are great. The lifestyle here is fantastic. You know, the beaches, the sea, and the scenery, the sports. Everything about Australia. I mean, I was lucky enough to live out here in my earlier days, and so I have a real affinity with the country. I have a lot of friends down here, so I don't need really much of an excuse to keep coming back.
Nice. And can you please tell us about Handa's work? How do you support this organisation, and what does that mean to you?
So I've been working with Dr. Handa for nearly 12 years now, and started with ISPS Handa, which was Dr. Handa's support of all abilities golf, and the drive to get all abilities golf in more mainstream and make sure that eventually that all abilities golf could be part of the Olympic movement. And that has, over the last 10-12 years, that's taken huge strides. We've been very successful with the support of Golf Australia and the Australian PGA to be able to have the All Abilities Championship at the Australian Open, where the All Abilities guys are playing on the same course at the same time as the men's professionals, which was a spectacular success. And actually the crowds, there were more people following the All Abilities guys around than some of the men's groups, which was really nice to see. He also pushes sort of the equality of golf. Through Dr. Handa's support and ISPS Handa's support, they had the first ever men's and women's tournament down at the Victoria Open, and that was a huge success. It was a massive organisation, massive logistical organisation, but it's now set the tone. And I think that Handa's support of golf in Australia generally, and the Australian mindset of being able to actually, you know what, we'll try something. It's proved such a success here that it's now been adopted by the DP World Tour and other tours, including the PGA Tour. So, you know, it's been a long journey, long road to get to that point. But there is real momentum behind, you know, having a full inclusion of all abilities and men and women playing at the same level.
That there is just such a fabulous initiative, such a fabulous organisation. And how does that fit in with what you want to achieve personally and more broadly?
Well, I'm a sports fan, a sportsman. I've been involved in sports and entertainment my whole life. And so anywhere where we can push sports for all across any platform, golf is a very easy platform to do it because everyone can participate and everyone can play it. So from my perspective, it was a very easy platform to be able to get involved and support Dr. Handa's vision, because we all want to do the same thing. We all want to drive sport forward and drive inclusivity within sport. So it was Dr. Handa's vision. It was very easy for me and others to be able to support that vision and really make it the reality that it is today.
Now look, I'd love to move on to the family and to your mother, Princess Anne, who is such an integral part of the royal family. How does she inspire you? Because she inspires so many others. So
both our parents have been obviously been hugely influential to Zara and myself, and I think primarily it's through their work ethic. Both of them are incredibly hardworking, and still, both in their 70s, they're still working probably a lot harder than either of them probably expected. But then, as my mother always says, they never, from that perspective, they had pretty good role models from my grandparents who were still working in their 90s. So you know, everyone has a huge amount to live up to, and ultimately they all live by example. They get involved with organisations that they are passionate about and enjoy and want and knowledgeable about, and so actually, you know, the continued evolution and the continued growth of all of those organisations just keeps them going and keeps them energised and wanting to grow with all of the organisations that they are they are associated to.
Is there an anecdote that you'd like to share with us about your mother that encapsulates who she is?
Certainly in the last few years, she's still doing trips, overseas trips, and turning them around in 24 hours, which is pretty hard on most people. Doesn't matter what age, but when you're in your 70s and doing that, it's pretty remarkable. But her mindset is, listen, I can go in, do what I need to do, and come back. And she really values her home time, and values her time with Tim and the family and the dogs and the horses, and that's a really important part of the structure of her week, to be able to actually relax and just get to some form of normality. Normality.
When you're that busy, I'm not sure there is totally a normality there. Look, Princess Anne does do so much work for charity, including overseas and even here in Australia. We know that she's very close to the King. She was his gold stick in waiting during the coronation, which was just absolutely sensational to watch. Do you think she gets the recognition that she deserves?
I think so now, yes. I think in the past she has always been, she's not always been sort of the media's favourite, so to speak. But she's never really let that bother her. She's always just kept her head down, and she's kept supporting the organisations that she wants to support. They may not be the most interesting, the most on topic, as it were, but for her that doesn't matter. She's not there. She's there to support them and grow the organisations and help them develop. So she's never been one that really worries about how many column inches she gets, and from that perspective, she just keeps her head down the whole time and just keeps working away, and leaves others to worry about column inches.
That's very admirable. Now, moving on to the King, we know he's had a challenging couple of months. Is he in good spirits? He still seems in recent weeks to getting back amongst it to the extent that he can.
Listen, he's in good spirits. I think ultimately he's hugely frustrated. He's frustrated that he can't get on and do everything that he wants to be able to do. But he's very pragmatic. He understands that there's a period of time that he really needs to focus on himself. But at the same time, he is always pushing his staff and everybody and his doctors and nurses to be able to say, actually, can I do this? Can I do that? So I think the overriding message would be that he's obviously very keen to get back to a form of normality, and is probably frustrated that recovery is taking a little longer than probably he would want it to.
Now, look, there is a royal visit planned to Australia later in the year. Why is Australia such a special place for the royal family?
I think, apart from anything else, most of us have spent quite a bit of time out here, and as a result, there is a huge affinity with the country. There's a huge affinity with the people. All of us have friends over here, and we all love coming over and seeing them and spending time with them. And when they come over to the UK, it's fantastic, and we host them and look after them. And it's so from that perspective, there are some fairly deep ties to the country. Obviously, the King spent time at school here, and the people, the countryside, everything about the lifestyle here. I think everyone is doesn't really need a second invitation to be able to come and visit Australia.